A lot of times when we're trying to lose weight and we're not losing weight as quickly or as efficiently as we want to, we're really quick to kind of like point the finger externally and be like, well, I don't have time. Well, when you play the victim card, you are taking all of the power away from you to be able to change your circumstance. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jess, this is Melissa. And in this video, we're going to talk about why you might not be seeing progress if you're not weighing your food. I just need to say, like, this is probably one of my biggest pet peeves. I get very passionate about it. I feel like you, where I just like, I want to like, you are shooting yourself in the foot and you are leaving so much progress on the table if you are tracking your food but not weighing it. To me, this just sounds so like illogical. Most people, when they come to us and they're starting out calorie cycling and they're like, you know, I'm just not seeing the progress that I want to see. One of my first questions always to them, because we've done this long enough to know that normally most people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, my first question to them is, are you weighing your food? 90% of the time their answer is no. And I'm like, are you tracking your food? And they're like, yes. Well, how are you tracking your food then? Well, I just go off of portion sizes on the back of the nutrition label. But then how are you knowing that you're accurately getting the portion size if you're not weighing your food?
I'm willing to put my money on the fact that if I had a piece of chicken right here in my hands and I said, tell me how much this weighs in grams, you know, something bad's gonna happen, you wouldn't be able to accurately tell me.
Most people would not be able to if you're new.
Yeah. Yes, if you're new.
That's like point number one, why it is so important to actually weigh your food, because you need to know what an accurate portion size looks like. If you don't know what a true portion size looks like, you have no idea like what the actual caloric value of your food is. And the thing is with this is that people are like, well, I eyeballed it, or I kind of guesstimated it, or maybe I even used measuring cups to like weigh things out. Weighing your food is going to be a million times more accurate because you can literally get down to the gram. It's going to be so much more accurate to give you like the exact portion size than if you're just like eyeballing, guesstimating, or even using measuring cups or measuring spoons. What this bleeds into is the whole idea of like being able to accurately track your calories, right? So if you don't know what a true portion size looks like, but then you're tracking the calories in it, it doesn't make any sense. There's no way for you to accurately be able to log the calorie count if you don't know the true portion size. And when you're trying to lose weight, you need to be in a calorie deficit in order to lose weight. So if you're kind of guesstimating portion sizes, you're leaving a lot to chance of maybe I'm in a deficit, maybe I'm not.
Like I want you to think about, you know, a science experiment. If you were given a science experiment to do and like you had to make something, you know, come out of the volcano, you know, like in school, like when they made you do those things, okay? And you're like, I'm just gonna kind of like guesstimate how much of this goes in, how much of this goes in. And then because you don't know, you're literally guessing what the quantity of each ingredient is, it's probably gonna explode. Something bad's gonna happen because like it's not accurate. It's the same thing with your food. You can't expect to have a certain outcome, progress, if you're not like accurately weighing out your food. That's data. You need to be collecting this data to be able to determine the reason why or why not you're making progress. If you're on your weight loss journey and you're like, well, I'm tracking all my food, but I'm not weighing it, I'm not losing weight, and you're really frustrated, my first thing is like, well, start weighing your food.
Yeah, because if you're weighing your food, you know the portion size to the gram. If you know the portion size to the gram, then you actually have the calorie data to be able to plug into your meal or your food tracker. And by looking at that data, you are definitively able to say, I'm in a calorie deficit or I'm not in a calorie deficit. And if you are in a calorie deficit, great, you should be losing weight. If you're not in a calorie deficit, now we know, okay, shoot, well, I need to tighten up things to get back in a calorie deficit. The other thing, like just kind of tying into what we just talked about, is it also puts the accountability back on you. And this is something we're so big on because a lot of times when we're trying to lose weight and we're not losing weight as quickly or as efficiently as we want to, we're really quick to kind of like point the finger externally and be like, well, I don't have time. Well, this is the thing.
You play the victim card.
Right. And so when you play the victim card, you are taking all of the power away from you to be able to change your circumstance. When you are actually weighing and tracking your food and you have this data to work with, we're no longer guesstimating, we're no longer eyeballing, we have solid data. You are able to now look at patterns and go, well, shoot, I'm in a deficit Monday through Thursday, but then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I've been weighing my food and I'm not in a deficit. That's the area that I need to tighten up. Or just think about like the accountability that most of us need when we are kind of eyeballing or guesstimating. We were talking with a client the other day and she was so funny and just so Like, so relatable though. She's like, I count out chips instead of weighing it. If the chips say, you know, you need to eat 18 chips to have one serving size, I will count out 18 chips, but I'm also going through the bag and pulling out the biggest ones possible.
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Like,
right.
if I get the broken ones, I'm like, well, let me piece together like 10 broken ones.
Yeah,
that's about a
big
chip, right?
Right, exactly. But that's the thing. If you're piecing together like 10 little ones to make one big one, or you're like literally fishing through the entire, you know, the entire bag to find the 18 biggest chips out of the bag, I guarantee if you weigh that, it's gonna be way more calories than you thought like the serving size actually was. This is really important to have the accountability of knowing the serving size is truly what is on the bag because I weighed it out. And number two, knowing that, okay, like because I have this data, now I'm able to make more informed decisions around what needs to change. I think the last part that we should talk about is why this is so important from like a foundational perspective and how it's going to help you build your knowledge and awareness of the nutritional value of food and why that's so important to make sure that once you lose weight, you're not gaining it back. Because that should be the end goal for all of us. We're not just weighing and logging to lose weight, we're weighing and logging to build a foundation so we don't have to weigh and log in the future.
When we started this business and we started working with like so many clients, the number of women who came to us, they were like, I don't know what 4 ounces of chicken is. I don't know how many grams of this is. Like, I have no idea about like portion sizes. Being able to like weigh your food, like being able to look at a plate and being like, okay, that looks like it's 4 ounces of chicken, that looks like it's 150 grams of rice, that looks like, you know, it's, I don't know, 100 grams of vegetables. You're starting to understand where your calories are coming from, where your protein's coming from, where your carbs are coming from, your fats, like all of it. Now you are an educated dieter. You're no longer a victim to the diet industry or the diet that you're doing. Like, you're the person in control. You are making informed food choices. Also, not to mention, you almost have training wheels on right now, and like your training wheels are weighing and tracking every single thing that goes into your mouth. Because the more that you can put in that work up front right now, the quicker you're gonna be able to move into having that balance of, I can go out and I can intuitively eat if I want to. If I don't wanna have to track things, I have a good idea of what, you know, 6 ounces of steak looks like, and, you know, half of a baked potato, like how much that's gonna, I have to log that in MyFitnessPal. Now you can go out to dinner and like, you can look at a plate and be like, yep, I know exactly what this is.
When I talk to like 99% of you guys are like, I don't want to have to log and track calories for the rest of my life, right? At some point, you want to be able to move into intuitive eating. Right. We've been doing this for nearly a decade now. You can put a plate of food in front of me and I could probably tell, and you too.
I do this game with myself like every day.
I could tell you down to like the gram how much like carbohydrates, how much fat, and how much protein is actually on there. Yeah. We want everyone to be able to get to that point where you can look at a plate of food and be like, 5 ounces of protein, 120 grams of rice, and like 100 grams of vegetables. And now I know what a balanced plate looks like, and I don't have to use, you know, a food scale. I don't have to be logging food every day because I know visually what this looks like because I've put in enough reps to be able to build that foundation to do that going forward. Start weighing your food. Like, especially if you're someone where you're like frustrated with your progress or you're like, this is not happening as fast as I want it to. If you are not weighing your food and you switch over to weighing your food, do it diligently for the next 14 days. Weigh every single thing that goes into your mouth and log every single thing that goes into your mouth. I can almost guarantee with like 99.9% certainty that your results will absolutely skyrocket.
And do it, and then come back and leave us a comment and let us know.